If there are 10 people in the room and there are 10 burgers, everyone can pay $5 per burger. But if there's only 5 burgers in the room and there are 10 people, you probably need to offer more to get the burger. Of course, you can offer to cut the burger into half, but you won't be full eating just half a burger, right? Bitcoin, fundamentally, the price depends on more people coming in to buy to push the price up. It's not like a company stock or a government bond whereby we know what's going to happen at the end of it. So if you own a company stock, we know that if the company performs reasonably well, there's a good chance of getting dividends being declared. If not, the company stock price could go up based on the future earning potential. If you hold a government bond, the government bond will have a fixed maturity date and will promise you a certain amount of payout. Of course, there's a chance that a company or bond will go bust. However, if you were to hold Bitcoin, the only way for the price to go up will be more people coming in to use it. And there's of course this hope that if currency don't collapse, maybe some group of companies or even countries decide to legitimize Bitcoin and use it for currency. However, I think that's a long shot, likely would have no chance of happening. Because if government actually switch to Bitcoin, how do they track payment and how do they collect tax? That's one very difficult question to answer at this moment. Then with regards to why Elon Musk decided to buy into Bitcoin, he thought that it would be a good time to diversify some of his company assets into cryptocurrency, especially now that Tesla is not making money. So he decided to move some money into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. But do you honestly think that when he moved into Bitcoin cryptocurrency, he did not know that there are environmental issues with regards to cryptocurrency? He definitely knows. It just so happens that around the point in time where he decided to stop accepting Bitcoin for payment, there were fluctuations in the price. Of course, you can say that his remarks were what caused the fluctuation, but it could be the other way around too. When he saw the fluctuation coming, he decided to stop. He conveniently used Tesla accepting Bitcoin as a currency as an excuse to go into Bitcoin to diversify some of his company assets. Then after going in, because the price is volatile, he decided to hold the Bitcoins and wait it out, which is why he cited the environmental concern part. For fellow investors out there that are invested in Bitcoin, do take a word of caution. If the market really were to crash tomorrow, do you want to hold Bitcoin, cash, gold, or do you want to have rice to feed your family? That's something to think about. Yeah. In the past, I have actually shared briefly about gambling versus investing. So gambling pretty much means that people do not have a proper strategy when to exit or when to top up to buy. You do not really care too much about the information pertaining to the asset you're buying. You're buying just in hopes that you go up. Whereby where you're investing, there's clear-cut thoughts when you're going to enter, when you're going to exit. The worrying thing is most people think they are investing when they're actually gambling. So there are people who enter certain asset classes knowing that there's a chance they might lose everything, otherwise they can become rich. That's actually not investing, that's gambling, unfortunately, because it's the same as buying lottery, right? If you pay $10 for a ticket, if you win, maybe you win $1 million. If you do not win, you're going to forfeit the $10. But in this context that we're talking about, a lot of people are investing sums between around 10,000. To them, they think that 10,000 is not a very huge amount. If they lose, they can probably earn it back within a number of years. If they make it big, they can probably stop working for the rest of life. So to many people, it could be a very compelling reason for them to go into speculative asset. So I want to share quickly about this minority game that I came across. I thought it was quite an interesting game. So in the minority game, rather than majority wins, the minority actually wins. So say if you flip a coin, if 10 people pick heads and 5 people pick tails out of a group of 15 people, the 5 people picking tails will win instead. How do you select the side so that you'll be the minority rather than majority? If you were to bring this analogy forward into investing, you don't want to buy the stock whereby everyone's buying because the price is probably overhyped. Neither do you want to buy the stock or asset class that not enough people are buying because there's probably no price action. You want to identify the stock or asset class that's somewhere in the middle. So there will be enough price action for you to make profit and not enough to keep it stale. So to put it into perspective, say if you play Monopoly, everybody knows the blue and the green one are the most valuable one and want to go actively for it. But because everyone is targeting it, it likely will be very difficult for you to even attempt to complete the whole series to build your hotels. Neither do you want to go for the cheapest property because they do not make you enough to kill other players, to take the money from other players for your behalf. The strategy, if you were to notice for Monopoly, most of the time, the winning players are the ones who take the middle properties, which are the yellow, the orange, and the red ones. So this minority game shows us that for investment, you do not want to be in the majority, you in fact want to be part of the minority, so you have a better position to make better investment returns. If you're holding things that are value for money, that means to say even if the market were to correct itself or collapse tomorrow, we know that these companies or assets are going to still be around, still going to be utilized. We still need certain companies like the utilities company, you still need your water, your electric, your handphone bills still need to be paid. But probably things that are luxury kind whereby people will actually cut down on it. I would suggest that people who are currently invested, you re-evaluate your current portfolio. What are the things that are profitable? What are the things that are not profitable? And will these same companies or asset perform reasonably well in a different scenario? You have to make sure that you do have some money standby at the sideline. If things go wrong, you have extra chips to come in to play. If you're all in right now and the market corrects, that's game over, friend. Yeah. Right, so I think that actually for young adults who have just gotten into the workforce, you're probably struggling to pay off some of your school or tuition loans, if not your other form of commitments. Those things are important. Do settle them first before you look into investment. Also, rather than set aside money directly into investment, it's good to look into some basic insurance to cover yourself in case something goes bad, because insurance can be done only when you're healthy. Investment can be done anytime. Once the basic is done, rather than put your money directly into investment, I think it's actually essential that first you look towards how you can invest into yourself, meaning to say that upgrade your skill sets, soft skill, technical skills, such that it can help you to generate a higher income in times to come. Because if actually there's an upcoming recession, asset value will go down. You want to make sure that you have the right skill set to survive in the kind of scenario. You're able to take job, you're wanted by companies, you have the skill set, able to command the kind of pay. For sure, if you're a young adult, as you progress into your 30s and 40s, your pay will definitely be increasing. Another thing you want to avoid is you want to avoid jumping from job to job just because it pays you well. For a start, it might give you some drive, but over time you might find not too motivated or driven in your form of work. So other than your main focus, your job, it's always good to have some secondary interests, things that you're genuinely interested to do. For example, if you like to play games, maybe you can consider streaming some of your games. You don't have to be very good at playing the game, but people feel entertained watching you even play some of the games because people just enjoy watching. Not everyone can play tennis well, like Serena Williams. Is she a tennis player? Yeah. But people enjoy watching the games, right? Yeah, that's my 2 cents on the matter. Hope it helps you guys. Right. To conclude, you do not want to wait for the market to correct itself before you actually enter the market, because we do not know when the market will correct itself. What you want to do is you want to make sure that what you're holding is of good value. Even if the market were to correct, you're not too worried, because we believe the fundamental of the companies or the asset classes will continue to perform in the time to come. We want to avoid things that are quite heavily overpriced now with a high chance of losing your money. As long as you do not lose too much of your capital when the correction comes, you are well positioned to take the rebound eventually when it has to come. Then the other worrying thing will be inflation on the sideline. If you hold too much cash now and inflation were to increase in the coming months, if not years ahead, monetary value will actually get eroded. So that's a very painful worry. For signs of inflation, you can probably look around. The cost of products and services are really going up. If you do not see inflation, you might see shrinkflation. Shrinkflation refers to, rather than selling you something at a higher price, they reduce the quantity to sell it to you at the same price. You can check your food, your potato chips, did they decrease the amount but keep the price the same? To conclude, do not wait for the market to correct itself before you go in. Position your portfolio according to the market tides. If you're not sure how to do it, do get in touch, we can speak further about it. What I'm sharing with you is just my personal opinion. It's not an expert opinion on the market, and it does not constitute financial advice.